Hello students, today we are going to do the next lesson, that is Judicial System of India. And the Judicial System of India comprises of three different level of court in our country. As you all know that there is a Supreme Court at Delhi. So Supreme Court is at the top level, and then comes the High Court. High Court at the state, and subordinate courts like you have the Civil Court and the Criminal Court at the district level. And you also know that the Civil Court deals with the civil matters, that is divorce, marriage, property matter, and even the monetary transaction. And the Criminal Court that deals with the robbery, dacoit, and other thing. Okay, so you like this, you have the Judicial System of India consisted of three different levels, that is Supreme Court at the top level, and High Court at the state level, and the District Court, that is you have a subordinate court, that is Civil Court, and the Criminal Court at the district level, and at the lower level you have a municipal court. Okay, and these lower court are under the jurisdiction of the higher court. That means they are under the superintendent of the higher court. Okay, so it says that we have a common judiciary system. Okay, so what does it mean? As you all know that there are three organs of the government, that means three branches of the government, that is legislature, executive, and the judiciary. So what is the function of the legislature? Legislature makes the law, and you have learned in the previous chapter in the union government, that is the parliament, the members of the parliament, they make the law. So legislature makes the law. And the executive, what is this executive? It consists of the chief minister, prime minister, council of minister, governor, president. All these people come under the executive. What are they going to do? They are going to execute, that means implement the law. Okay, so like this you have three organs: the legislature, executive, and judiciary. Legislature makes the law, executive implements the law, and judiciary interprets the law. Okay, and as I told, we have common judiciary system. What does it mean? You know that India is a federal state, that is it has been divided for the administrative convenience, that is into central government and the state government. Okay, though we have a dual government, that is central and the state government, we do not have a separate judiciary, that means separate law or a separate court. We have a common judiciary system. Unlike that in America, they have a two court, that means you have the law at the center and the state. But in India we have a common judiciary system. Though we have divided the country into center and the state, we follow the common judiciary system. So what is judiciary? Judiciary, as I told, it is nothing but a organ of the government where it interprets the law. Okay, and it also protects the fundamental rights of the citizen and settles the disputes and administers the justice to all the citizens. Okay, so judiciary, it takes the responsibility to see that apply the laws to the specific cases and settle the disputes by interpreting and following the rules and regulations. And on the whole, we can say that judiciary is nothing but the custodian of the constitution or the guardian of the constitution. Okay, and further there is a statement, it says that our judiciary is independent. Okay, as just now I said that legislature, executive, and judiciary, three organs of the government. Okay, legislature as makes the laws, executive executes the law, and judiciary interprets the law. Okay, so here judiciary is independent, means that legislature and executive doesn't have any matter, that means doesn't have any power to interfere in the working of the judiciary. That means they do not have any rights to interfere in the working of the court. That means the courts are not under the control of the government, and they do not act on behalf of the government. Okay, so on the whole we can say that here the court, that is the judges, they perform their duties without a fear or a favor of these other two organs. It is It is completely performs its function without the control or without anybody's restraint. Okay, so on the whole you can say it is accountable. That means it has to supposed to follow the constitution of the country. Okay, so that's the meaning of common judiciary system. That is, India, though it is a federal, that is, the power has been divided into central and the state, and we have a common judiciary system. That means we have only one law. Okay, and our judiciary is independent. It says that the courts, that means our judiciary is not under the control of the legislature or the executive. It's completely independent. The court function independently. Okay, and they are not under the control of anyone. Okay, so now in this chapter we are going to study about the composition, powers and functions of the Supreme Court. Okay, Supreme Court, as you all know, that it is the highest court of appeal. Okay, it is the highest authority that, to uphold the constitution. It protects the fundamental rights of the citizen. Okay, and it is also known as the guardian of the constitution. Okay, so we'll know about the Supreme Court. As you all know that 26th January 1950, it is the day on which our constitution was adopted. So, the Supreme Court of India came into existence on 28th January 1950. Okay, so after the Republic Day, on 2 days after the Republic Day, that is 28th January 1950, the Supreme Court of India came into existence. Okay, and originally the Supreme Court of India consists of Chief Justice and 30 other judges. Okay, and the constitution, it is the law. What is constitution? You know, it is a book of law. It provides that the Parliament may by law increase or decrease the number of the judges of the Supreme Court. I think you all understand it. The constitution has provided the permission to the Parliament that they can increase or decrease the number of the judges of the Supreme Court according to their needs. Okay, so as per the Parliament Act of 1986, the number of judges been increased to 26. Okay, but at present the Supreme Court consists of the Chief Justice and 30 other judges. And the Constitution also provides an provision, that is to appoint the retired judges of the High Court and the Supreme Court as ad hoc judges. That means if necessary to appoint them as the judges of the Supreme Court. I think you all understood. The Constitution also provides a provision wherein it states that you can appoint the judges, retired judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court, act as a ad hoc, that means necessary judges of the Supreme Court when required. Okay, so next we will see the qualification required to become the Supreme Court judges. Okay, firstly, if you want to become the judge of the Supreme Court, firstly you should be the citizen of India. Okay, you should be the citizen of. Okay, so firstly, in order to be appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court, he should be citizen of India. And secondly, he should serve. That means a person who wants to become a judge of the Supreme Court, he has to serve at least 5 years as a judge of the High Court. Or you would have served as a lawyer, as an advocate in the High Court for at least 10 years. Or he might be a distinguished jurist as per the President opinion. Okay, so firstly citizen of India, or you would have served as a served as the judge of the High Court for at least 5 years, or as an advocate of a High Court for 10 years, or would have been an eminent jurist under the opinion of the President. Okay, And also there is also a provision existed for the appointment of the judge of the High Court or the judges of the Supreme Court or the retired judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court to sit and act as the judges of the Supreme Court. Okay, so there is an opportunity for the retired judges of the Supreme Court and the High Court to act as a judge of the Supreme Court. Now the next question arises is who appoints these judges of the Supreme Court? The President. Okay, the President appoints the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court. So it means the President has the power to appoint these judges. Okay, and the President is the sole, that means he is completely independent to take up the decision. And further, in matter of appointing the Chief Justice, if he want, he can take up the opinion of the judges of the Supreme Court. That means he can consult the judges of the Supreme Court and also the High Court judges if he may require. That means if he feels that it is necessary to consult them if you want to choose the judges of the Supreme Court. Okay, and further it is said that most probably the senior most of the judges of the Supreme Court is normally appointed as the judges of the Supreme Court. Okay, next, the age of the retirement. Usually the judges of the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, they retire at the age of 65, but if they require they can resign earlier also. But once they have been appointed as the judges, you do not have the right to remove. If we have to remove, if they are indulged in the, that means if they are fined guilty while discharging their duties. Okay, again, when you want to remove those judges when they are found guilty, it has to be, that means they have to, it has to be discussed in the Parliament. Okay, that is, he can be removed from the office of the court. That means from the power of the Chief Justice in the Supreme Court only on the recommendation, that is by the support of the 2/3 of the members of the Parliament. Okay, so after the resignation, that is after the retirement of the judges, these people, that means judges of the Supreme Court, do not have the right to practice before any court.